Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday to you. I am excited to be here. So if you're coming on, just joining me, please say hi. I want to acknowledge that you're here, acknowledge that you're showing up, and I'm grateful to have an opportunity to go live today. So for those of you who've noticed, I've been a little quiet this week. I've had a lot going on here at the Stroll House. There's actually been a lot of things going on recently in my life. And I wanted to come on today because I wanted to talk about when shit hits the fan and what do we do. But before I dive into like the steps that we could take, I really just wanted to talk about and acknowledge you all out there. And I have connected with many of you recently. I've connected with many in my own personal life. I have people in other areas of my life, and it seems like that on a whole, things seem to be really hard right now. Good morning, Sandra. And that the energy seems to be really difficult to deal with. And it appears like that more and more people that I talk to, we seem to all just have a lot going on, and it seems overwhelming and it can feel heavy. And this has just been on my mind lately of how we all seem to be going through our own shitstorms. That's how I want to put that into. And this last week have had my own shitstorm. I won't lie. Terry's saying struggling for sure. Good morning, Trish. And the more people that I have talked to and connected with here, especially like in the last month, I want to say, I see so many people struggling. I see so many people having such a hard time, so many people not knowing what to do or where to go or even how to begin or how to just do anything. Like I kind of feel like the energy, I have kind of felt stuck. And yes, people are, yes, thank you. And I just feel like there's this energy of like, oh my gosh, what the hell am I supposed to do now? And Trisha just went through a shitstorm this week too. Yes, like and sometimes I think for me, even had several struggles this past little while. I'm not alone in this. Hallelujah. Welcome to the freaking club, everybody. Yes, this last week for my family has been really rough, and I won't lie. I'm not going to share the details today because there's too many other people involved in all that's going on in my life right now, so I'm not going to put that out there as of yet. Hello, Carrie. But I am going to share from my point of view this week how to deal with it and how to make it through the shit storms. And because I'm sitting here today, I actually do have a smile on my face. Last week at this time, I did not look like this. Last week at this time, it was a freaking shit show. And I won't lie, like just so many emotions, so many feelings, so many not even knowing what to do or where to go or how to even deal with any of it. And so that's the part that I want to talk about today is how do we get from there to here? And how do we do it in a way that is beneficial to us? Because we can all put on we've all heard the saying, just put your big girl panties on and deal with it. I think that's bullshit. And I'm just going to say it out loud. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, and I just think this whole, I'll just get bigger big girl panties or my big boy panties or my whitey tighties or whatever the hell you want to say there is bullshit. Because we cannot, to me, from a healing point of view, when we go through life like that, we are setting ourselves up. At some point, you're going to freaking explode because you just are. Your body can't handle all of that. I know this week I couldn't have just put my big girl panties on and just went right back to work and just dealt with it. Because it's not okay anymore. The old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, they're not okay anymore. At least not in my book. Is anybody hearing me with this? Because those don't work. we can't shove all of that energy down and just not acknowledge it and not feel it because it hurts too bad. Like sometimes we just have so many things going on and it just hurts. Like my heart has been broken literally in half all week. Like I won't lie, but it's feel like we've lived in meditation this week. Yes, absolutely. I was beyond that. I couldn't even get to the meditation part until later in my week because I had to really just unpack the ship first. So what do we do when we get to this place of like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do? And that's the part that I want to talk about because I do not want you to have to put on your big girl panties anymore. And I don't want us as women to feel like, and yes, I'm going to cry today, so sorry. And I don't want us as women to feel like that we can't feel our feelings because we can and we should. We've been told for a long time that it's not okay, but it's freaking okay. And it's okay to lose your shit, and it's okay to be hurt, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to feel all of the feelings. It's absolutely okay. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And I see you all. You're like, yes, it's been a rough week. Yes, we've had struggles. Yes, we have a lot going on. Maybe for some people it's not. Ours was a little bit of a shock, kind of out of the blue type of thing. It wasn't really out of the blue, but Trisha's crying. Yes, thank the Lord. Yeah, let's all cry together here. Yeah, you know, for me, I knew some things were coming and then some things really happened. And so it wasn't a shock, but it was like, but dealing with all the emotions of everything that we have to do. So how do we get through it? What are some things that we can do? Well, you do exactly what I'm doing right here. And this is what I've done for most of the week. Not all of the week, but a lot of the week. And that's what I want to talk about today because I want to give you guys permission to be in this place where it's okay to express yourself. And it's okay to come and get on a freaking live and bawl to all of you. Because I used to be totally embarrassed by this. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to pull my shit together and I have to hold it together. We don't always have to hold it together. Life is crazy, Delise, absolutely. Life can be hard. Life can be shit. But also what we do with it is up to us. And that's what I want you to hear today. Because not everything as tragic and as sad and as heartbreaking as it seems. It doesn't have to be that way for us. And we can deal with it and we can learn to find ways to move through. So that's what I want to talk about you today. Because I'm going to share with you some of the things that I did this week to help me and to help my family. Most of it has been about me this week because I really just didn't have the capacity to deal with anything else. So that's what I want to talk to you about because sometimes we need to take a step back and just take care of ourselves. And it's absolutely a must. Yeah, Alicia's like, yep, nonstop tears. Yeah, that's kind of what it's been. Anyway, yes. So, what do we do when it gets all out of control? Well, the first thing that we have to do is freaking breathe, because we can get so caught up and so upset, and so we're literally like hyperventilating. And does anybody know what that means? Has anybody been in that place? Like, we get so wound up, we get so full of anxiety and stress and all the feelings, we like don't even know what to do with it. Has anybody been there? Give me thumbs up, give me hearts, give me whatever feels good to you, post in the comments. Yep, because we have to. Yep, Alicia's saying yes. We've all been there. We all understand what it's like. It hurts to breathe. Sometimes we can have things going on that just hurt to breathe. But the number one thing we need to remember, yep, Terry's saying yes, you got to breathe. You absolutely freaking have to breathe. Nicole, hello, Nicole. So you got to breathe. You got to go on and you got to breathe. And you cannot forget to breathe. This means, to me, not the shallow breathing in the bag. That part is not okay. If you're getting out the brown bag and breathing into the bag, we need to do some different breathing techniques. For me, one of the first things that I had to do was to really take a step back from everything, and really just take some big deep breaths and tell myself that it was going to be okay. No matter what, it's going to be okay. We'll figure shit out. We'll figure things out as we go, because this is what we have to do. This is what we're doing today. Yeah. Delise says, feels life like your world is caving in and it's hard to even see tomorrow's. Yes. Like, we've all been there. We've all got tragic news. We've all had things that we've had to deal with. Life is full of ups and downs. And it's probably never going to be without a shitstorm somewhere going on. Alicia, today was about, I was told I needed to go do a live today on being vulnerable. And even though I can't share the circumstances right now, I think it's important that we see each other as vulnerable, and it's okay. And it's okay to be this way. It's okay to show up like this sometimes, because it lets us know that we're not alone. And that's why I'm here for you guys today. You're not alone. And that's what I want you to know. You're never alone. We can all do this together. So breathing is the first thing. So remember to breathe, and not breathing in the bag like we were talking about, but really take a step back, take in some big deep breaths, and remind yourself, you know what? It's going to be okay. We'll figure it out. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so there's the first thing. The next one that I wrote down this week that I did was I did what had to be done. So there's usually things, for us, it was packing a bag and jumping in a car. It just had to. It's just, there was no way around it. Life stopped. Life in an instant really just got put on hold. I was supposed to be headed to other places. My husband was going other places. Life really just got put on hold. So we did what we had to do. Packed a different bag. We did some different things, made arrangements, and off we went. And so to me, it's being okay to pivot, knowing and understanding that things will work out just like they need to. And I had to keep reminding myself that last weekend that, you know what? I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know where we're ending up. I don't even know where we're staying tonight. Like, for the love of God, do I have a bed tonight? I don't know. I'll figure it out, because I can't think about that right now. What I had to think about is, okay, so what does need to be done? What needs to be taken care of? That's what needed to be taken care of. So do what has to be done. The other thing, move through the motions, whatever it is. Leave anything behind that can wait. Okay, this is huge for all of you out there. I don't care if you're not having this major breakdown. If you're having a rough week and things seem to be overwhelming, look at your calendar. What can you ditch? What can you get rid of? What can wait? What doesn't need to happen? And get rid of them. Don't even wait. Some people set on, I'll see what I wait. I'll see how I feel on Tuesday. No. Get your calendar, get your shit together, clean that stuff up. And don't set on it, because then it brings up this guilt and this, if I was stronger, if I was just better, I could do all. No, let it go. Things will wait. People will wait. Things can do. If you can move stuff around, do it. I didn't look at my calendar until about Sunday, because I didn't have a chance. But at that moment, I didn't even hesitate. I just started knocking stuff off the list. Because I don't see clients on the weekend. That made that great. But I just started rearranging, and I just started doing whatever could go, went. There was no question. And my schedule is kind of tight. There was no question. It just had to be moved. And you can do the same thing. So start moving things around. If you're dealing with kids, get rid of all the freaking extracurricular activities. Ditch whatever you can ditch, because your energy is important and you need to conserve. And you need to bring it back to what is truly important, and that's taking care of yourself and taking care of your immediate needs. So there's that. This one is also very important, and it's one that obviously we're doing here today. I'm finally getting some of my shit together here, but feel your feelings, lose your shit. And in fact, I wrote down lose your shit to find it, because that's how it felt at the time. This is how this can feel. Like, literally, let it go. That's really good advice. I forgot to knock things off my schedule. Yeah, we don't need to do all of the things. We're going back to doing all the things here for a minute because Alicia made a comment, but we don't need to do it. And you don't need to feel guilty about not being able to show up, because sometimes in life, we just need to take care of ourselves. And there are times when I know I used to feel this way a lot. I don't feel this way anymore, but I used to feel like, you know what, I just had to be strong and I just had to push through and I just had to do everything. I don't feel that way anymore. In fact, in the work that I do, I know that I will not be doing healing sessions when shit's hitting the fan. And it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I just have to, I can't do healing sessions for other people if I'm a freaking mess. Trish says, I took the whole day off yesterday to cry. Yes, absolutely, Trish. Like, I've been there with you this whole week, girl. Like, yeah, it's just, there isn't any space left. And for me, I was just, I have learned as a healer that I am not any good, 0 ounce of goodness to anyone else if the shit is hitting the fan. And sometimes I can work through it, and sometimes it's not so bad. But if it is a really deep-seated, got a lot of stuff going on, the schedule just has to be cleared. It just is. And it was funny because I was kind of watching my husband, and he hurried and rushed back to work. And I thought, it's such a different thing for him now, because he's not tapping into the emotions of other people. And when my emotions are off, I'm going to suck. Like, it's just not even possible. It's just not possible. And so that was the first thing that I did, was clear all that up, take care of that, take that stress off of myself. I didn't even have to worry about it or think about it, and just do that. So yeah. So the next one that I had already kind of mentioned, feel your feelings, lose your shit to find it. It's okay to feel, to not be afraid of all the emotions. I do have a couple of pointers for this. Hello, Georgianne. Do this in a safe place, and do this with somebody that you can feel vulnerable with, because it is very vulnerable. I will tell you, I pretty much lost it on Saturday night. I can't say that I've ever lost it like that before. But thank God for my husband and for good people, because you have to do that. You have to allow yourself that space to just open up and to let it all come out. Because if not, you're holding all that in there, and that's not good either. That can't happen either. But you cannot hold that stuff inside. You cannot keep it. It is not yours to keep. These are emotions. We're human. We have feelings. We have belief systems. We have all these things going on. So find a safe place. Find someone that you can be vulnerable with. Find someone that you can snot all over the place on, literally. And let that stuff come out, because you cannot keep that stuff in there. And this is actually probably the scariest thing, I think, for a lot of people. There was a time not too many years ago, I wouldn't have allowed myself to do that, but it was like, it's kind of scary, and it's kind of overwhelming, and it's kind of, we don't understand how we can have that much energy packed in there. But the way that I look at this is, it's perfectly normal. We should be doing those kind of things. We should be able to have these vulnerable moments where we could just say, you know what, I am not okay. This is not okay. And no, I'm not going to be okay with this. Not today. And that was one of the things that I said over the weekend too. It's like, I did make myself, I'm usually pretty happy-go-lucky. Most of you that know me, I'm usually pretty happy-go-lucky. I did not even require that out of myself at all. I didn't put pressure on myself to be grateful. I didn't put pressure on myself to feel a certain way or to act a certain way. I teach abundance courses. We talk all the time about being grateful and staying in gratitude, staying positive. I just said, and I can't even go there. I'm not even dealing with it. So I want you to give yourself permission, for one, that you don't even have to be grateful about the shit. You can be angry, mad, sad, yell, scream, do whatever you need to do, but find a way to be vulnerable and let those feelings go. Do not hold on to them. And it's not even that we're letting them go. We are women. We need to be expressive. We need to be able to express our feelings and feel safe in doing so and not hold those suckers inside, because that brings out rage and all of the other things later. We don't want to go there either. So, and then don't let yourself feel guilt for it afterwards. A lot of us are like, wow, you lost your shit. Like, good job. Anybody had that? Anybody like totally lost it, lose it, they're angry, whatever, crying, screaming, carrying on, and then we're like, oh, wow, I think we need some medicine. Does anybody understand that? Like, then we judge ourselves afterwards for feeling that way. Has anybody been there? Does anybody understand that? I would love to hear, like, because I thought of that today. I was like, oh my gosh, the old me would have been embarrassed and totally humiliated because I just allowed that to happen, because that vulnerable side of me was just shown. But this is who we are, and we are women, and we are expressive, and we have that opportunity and should use that opportunity to express our feelings. So has anybody, if you leave it in the comments, post, yeah, Trisha's saying yes, if you have allowed yourself to go to shame afterwards, because I'd love to hear. Because I think this is something that we need to be aware of too, that there's nothing wrong with us. Yeah, Alicia's saying it can be ugly. And I never want to admit that I'm struggling. We don't. We want to just say, you know what, it's good. I got it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We always do this. It'll just be fine. We'll just work it out. Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you're dying a slow death inside. And that's not okay either. Oh, yes, I'm learning not to let myself feel guilty for that. Yeah, it's just emotions. There's nothing wrong with any of the emotions that you feel. Not one. I don't care if it's rage. I don't care. I've had every emotion on the block this last week. I could name them all. I could be them all. I have felt them all. I have been angry, mad, raging, deeply heartbroken, sad, all of the things. And none of them are bad. That's just it. Not one of them are bad. Because when we allow ourselves to be in that safe space, and if we allow ourselves the grace and the dignity to go through this, there's nothing wrong with any of them. It's what we tell ourselves. Yeah, Terry, my dog might think I'm crazy after this week. Yeah, that's okay. The dog will still be there to love you, Terry. They're the best vulnerable people on the face of the planet. They'll just love you and lick you to death. Like, so it's okay to feel. Please allow yourself that grace to feel your feelings. If I have learned anything through my healing process, this is the lesson that I have learned, that it is time to stop hiding from our emotions. And it's time to stop hiding and pretending that we've just got it together, because we don't freaking have to have it together. Been through the process of frustration with myself over so many things that I could not change. So much crap. Yes, we put this extra pressure on ourselves. You know, it's no different than feeling guilt for canceling your schedule for the week. Like, really? We can only take so much. We only have so much energy to give, and we only have so much energy during the day. When you got stuff like this going on, pull yourself back in and do what needs to be done so that you can take care of yourself. So my throat's going to get all nastier. Okay, so the next one on my list, is everybody with me so far? Sorry, excuse me. I get all my stuff moving here. So the next one on the list is ask for help. And I am going to share with you this week, because I remember when back last weekend, and we were trying to figure everything out and trying to pack and do all the things. And I remember, because I have, to me, being a medium, being an intuitive healer, I just sent it all out to my guides, and I said, look, I can't do this alone, and I need your help. And I need you to help me process all of this, and I need you to help me so that we can do what we need to do. Because even though we got feelings and stuff going on, there's still things that need to happen here. And I need you to help us keep our head on straight here. And that was one of the best things. That was one of the first things that I did. Now, I haven't always been that way, but this is something that I have learned over time. And I even asked, can you please let things work out to the best outcome that can happen here, or something better, because this is totally out of my control. I need your help. So asking for that help from God, from universe, the guides, and from people around you. And that's the other thing that I did as well, is I reached out, and for whatever I needed, I just started asking. And I just started asking. And it doesn't mean you have to go tell people sometimes, just like in this situation, not everybody did I want to reach out, but I just said, hey, we've had a little family emergency. Could you help me? I need some help this week. Could you help me do blah, 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 whatever. So ask for that help. Don't be afraid, and don't expect people to know what the hell's going on in your life, because they're not going to know. Some of us are very intuitive, and we can, I need to call and talk to so-and-so today. I have friends that I just know something's up, but not everybody is that way. So don't expect people to just get you. Sometimes we need to just reach out and say, hey, this is what I need. Can you help me out this week? Can you help me out with this? Can you do this for me? Most people are very willing and understanding. So the other thing, because of who I am, get some healing. And I have done this week myself too, because I know that if I want to be my very best and do my very best, I need to work through the things that this has brought up for me. Because just because we have situations going on around us and it's not really we're involved, we also have things to heal from that going on inside of us. I believe everything we go through is an opportunity for us to heal. Everything that we are living, everything that we are feeling, everything that we're seeing is an opportunity for us to heal. So it's very interesting to me. I was thinking about my week before. So this would be like not this past week, but the week before, and how I had been told all that last week I needed to slow down. And I was like, why? We're working really hard. I've got a team of people working with me now. We've had a lot of things going on. And I kept hearing, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. And I was like, okay. So finally, after it took a day or two, it didn't come. I was like, why? What are you talking about? Like, I got so much to do this week, and I had scheduled classes and I had done all the things, and I just kept hearing, you need to slow down, Gina. Take a big deep breath, and you need to slow down. And so I did. I listened to that. The other thing that was really interesting is that I have a girl that I trade, Michelle Thomas. I'll just tell you who she is. I freaking adore her. I love her. She's here on Facebook. I had a feeling I needed to schedule a healing appointment with her. And I did. It was like, and I just went, and she even had an opening, like, which is not normal. Those of you who've been to my calendar, like, that's not normal. And her and we were able to schedule it at the same time. Well, and I cleared my week out, which made it. But even when I scheduled the last time, it was just open. And so I took that healing appointment, not really understanding why, but I did it anyway. And I knew that I wanted to do some healing anyway here pretty soon. So I just did it. And looking back, I'm like, I'm so glad I followed my guidance. So here's the other thing, follow your guidance. I didn't even write that one down, but I was like, my guides had been working ahead before I even knew what was coming. They had already put things into place for me because they knew what I would need this week. So you can have the same thing. I'm not special in that area. If you will listen to this, looking back on it, at the time I thought it was strange, but I listened because I'm getting better at that. So take those little nudges, even if you don't understand why, even if you don't know what's going on or that's kind of ridiculous, do it anyway. So I was amazed when I looked back at my week before, and I was grateful that I had taken a little bit of a breather before I got smacked in the face. Because I have done that before where I haven't listened and then I get smacked in the face, and it's very overwhelming then. So I was grateful for those little nudges, grateful for those things that I listened to. So listen to your intuition. Do what you're told to do, even if it seems freaking crazy at the time. because there's a reason for everything and it will never lead you astray. So, so ask for help, get some healing. The healing thing for me was it was an important part of my week because I needed to release a lot of that stuff and I needed help like navigating through it. And there's nothing wrong with this. This goes back to asking for help. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I see people on here that I work with and I'm so grateful that I can help them navigate through my stuff. And I'm grateful that there's people that I work with too that have been able to help me navigate my stuff, because not always are we in a place where we can navigate it from a spiritual point of view. So that's what I'm grateful for there. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is empower your mind. And this one has been a big one for me this week. This is a big one, I think, for all of us, because what happens when shit hits the fan is we want to start thinking. And I know there's a point of view there's a time not a point of view, there's a time in the beginning where we shouldn't even try to do this. And I talked about that. I'm not going to pretend I'm grateful about this shit. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to be happy-go-lucky. But as the week went on, I was able to step out of that a little bit more. And this is where I started empowering my mind. And this is where I started watching my thoughts. Because we want to go to this place of this is going to be shit. This sucks. I can't believe we're freaking doing this again. Here we are. Like all the things that we think about. And this is where we get ourselves into big trouble, because if we allow that to continue on, this is where the depression comes in. This is where a lot of other issues can come in for us. If we can kick it in the butt, you'll know when the right time is. There's a time and a place to do this. So this is the other thing that I have done. And it was after I had healing, ironically enough. Take note of that. Because before that, I wasn't really in a space to even go there yet. But after I did that, I was able to empower my mind, lean away from everything's falling apart, and embrace this part of what if this situation is going to open doors that I never knew were even possible to open? What if, and I ask myself a lot of what if questions, what if this situation is going to help me and so many others through their healing process as well? What if for my family, this becomes that glue that holds us together as we go through all this together? What if? Because when we can start asking questions like that and empowering ourselves and coming at this place from empowerment and not feeling sorry for ourselves, there's a time and a place to feel sorry for ourselves, just like I just said, and then there's a time to empower yourself. And so if we can watch our mind, watch our thoughts, watch what we're doing, don't make things worse for yourself. Going to the shit hole forever is not where you want to go. And there is a time and a place for this. Just like I said, I'm going to say it again. There's a time and a place to do this. Sometimes we just can't, and sometimes you shouldn't, and you should just let it all, just like I talked about in the beginning of the week. I didn't even try. I wasn't even going to pretend. In fact, I remember telling my husband, this is hell, and I am not going to pretend it's anything different than that. Because I couldn't wrap my head around it. But now I'm sitting here this weekend, and it would be really easy to go to that place of I'm so picked on if I wanted to, but I choose not to. And I want you to choose not to as well. I want you to choose to empower yourself, choose to empower your mind, and allow yourself the opportunity, that opening up, that expansion of maybe just this one thing is going to be that one pivotal moment for us. What if this was so much learning and growth for us that we would look back on it and go, wow, I'm really grateful that happened. I never want to do that shit again, but I'm really grateful that it happened. What if? Because what do you have to lose? You can allow your mind to run your life and run you in the hole, or you can allow your mind to empower you and you empower it, and you two work together in this. Because it's never over. It's not over. It may seem like it's over. You may think that you can't do this. And those are all okay. Another game that I like to play with myself, and I wrote it down here and like in the scribbles on the bottom because I wanted to remember to talk about it. I reminded myself constantly how many times I'd done hard shit. I went through the list in my head. Don't you remember back in 2015? That was the biggest shitstorm of your life, Gina, and you made it through. Don't you remember when we got all that bad news back then? We still made it. Don't you remember? Gina, remember. Gina, remember this? And this is what I kept doing for myself all week. Remember this. We've done this before. Not this situation before, but we have been in this place before. So empower yourself to think differently. Empower yourself to be able to pull yourself up and do the very best that you can do. On a scale from 1 to 10, you can post down in the comments, how hard is it for you to empower yourself? 1 being impossible, 10 being sometimes, or 10 being, okay, yeah, I can do that. And I understand that situations are different, but post in the comments on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say? Where are you at on empowering yourself? Because I know this isn't easy to do. This is not a 5. Good job, Alicia. This is not always easy to do. It's not always easy to pull ourselves out of the hole. But to me, I believe it's critical. And there's a time and a place to do it. Just like I said, hear me again one more time. If you're just coming in, there's a time and a place for it. 4, Sandra's saying 4. You know, and it's learning to shut that ego up because and we want to go to this feel sorry. I mean, I really did. I wanted to just crawl up in a hole and feel sorry for myself. But what does that accomplish? Good job, Delise. What does that accomplish by curling up in a ball and just feeling sorry for yourself? Now, like I said, there's a time and a place. Last weekend, I was feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling sorry. I was sad. I was heartbroken, all the things. But today, I don't want to be that. And I don't want to stay there. And I don't want to show that to my family or my kids. Yeah, Terry, it does. It kind of depends on the day and the situation. And there are different things. There are different times where I find myself going to the oh, poor me. But I have learned to catch it earlier. Good job, Trish. Yep. I've learned to catch it earlier and not allow myself to go there as much. And it's empowering yourself, reminding yourself, you know what? Maybe this isn't the worst thing in the world. And I have actually been reminded of that here recently because when I have looked around and I have seen other things happening, and we just got some other news about some other people this morning that I know, and I thought, you know what? It's not all, our news is not always the end of the world. And it's remembering that everybody is going through their own stuff. Everybody's going through their hard things. But I can do this. I've been here before. I can empower myself. And know that not every day needs to be perfect. And maybe some days we're still going to have the cry and boom and ballin' day. And some days we're going to be angry and sad and all the things. But we can do this. You can do it. You have done it before. And you can do it again. So I want to leave this message with you today because I know that those of you who are on here got exactly what you needed today. I'm going to thank my guides for telling me to be vulnerable today because that's, I believe that by sharing, other people understand our stories, other people understand where we're coming from, and it gives us a sense of knowing that we're never alone. And that's what I want you guys to know. You're never alone. You can do this. Whatever is going on in your life, you can do this. You have permission to feel, be, do, have whatever you need to do, but then empower yourself to move forward and empower yourself to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to do this and it's going to be okay. And we're going to be okay. I look at Terry on here. I can look at just about everybody who's commented on here and know that they've been through hard shit. A lot of these people on here I work with and they've been through hard shit. You've all been through hard shit. And it's not easy, but you can do it. And I know you can, because if I can do it, you guys can all do it. You're welcome, Trish. So don't forget that. I see the light in all of you. I know you're showing up. I know you're doing the very best that you can do. So I wanted to come on and share that with you all today. Keep shining. Keep doing what you need to do. Know that I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful for your support. I'm grateful that you were on here today. And I will leave it at that. Hugs to you too, Terry. I hope that your week gets a little better. And if you guys are stuck in the shitter, if you need someone, message me. Let's chat. I'm here for you, just like we can all be here for each other. So, if you need something, if you want someone to pull you up, let's do this. Let me help. Let me help be the one to pull you out. And Sandra says, today has been a confirmation for me of choices that I've made. Yes, you know what, Sandra, you're doing some amazing things. Trust it. Trust it. Trust it. It's all going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Even when you don't know how. What is it that we say? We don't need to know the how. You don't have to know how it's going to work out. But it's going to work out. And I've even reminded myself one more thing. I was just told to say one more thing. I don't need to know the how. I just need to trust and just watch it go. And it will work out exactly like it's supposed to do. Because I can't fix this shit. That's just it. And I think this is where we get into trouble, is because we feel out of control and we want to control the situation. Well, I can't control this shit. I can only control me, and I can control how I react to all of this and what I do with it for myself. And we can totally fall apart and lose our shit and stay there. And I've seen people do that, and I think how sad. I've lived with my family that has done that and have chosen to do that, and we choose not to. And you guys can do the same. So you can choose to stand up and be brave and do what you got to do. So I love you all. Sorry to be a booby mess, but I think it was important for you to hear today. So I love all of you. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you all. Hopefully we're back on a regular schedule next week. So thanks for joining me on your Saturday, and much love to all of you. Have a fabulous day.